Welcome to our In Focus discussion tonight. When you think of job growth in Utah, some things that may immediately come to mind include high-tech jobs, the outdoor industry, healthcare. However, an overlooked area is manufacturing, even though a recent study by the Kem C Gardner Policy Institute says that it's Utah's 5th largest industry. So tonight, we look at the benefits and the challenges that accompany creation of goods here in Utah. Joining us now in studio is Stephen Merrill. He is the Chief Operating Officer for Dynamic Blending, a cosmetic manufacturer. And via Zoom, we have Nathan Jones, President and founder of Xlear. Gentlemen, great to have both of you with us. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Glen.
Let's start off. Tell us a little bit about each of your companies and why you define yourselves as manufacturers. Stephen, let's start with you.
Sure thing. Dynamic was founded in 2015 primarily as a research and development firm. In 2017, we actually flipped to manufacturing as a full turnkey manufacturer. So what that means is from concept, research development phase through branding, marketing, finished goods, packaging and filling, all the way to fulfillment. And we're located in Vineyard, Utah, where we will probably stay for the foreseeable future.
Nathan, tell us a little bit about your company and the manufacturing angle.
Well, the manufacturing of Xlear is we manufacture nasal sprays, toothpaste, mouthwash, hygiene tools that utilize xylitol to help keep us healthy.
Let's talk a little bit about the manufacturing scene here in Utah. As we mentioned, it may not be top of mind when we talk about the job industry here. So talk about how many people are employed and where they are located in the state. Stephen, your thoughts there?
Yeah, sure thing. So we currently have on staff 130 employees, and that ranges from anyone in research development to packaging floor. That's an increase from last year of 40 employees around this same time. So continuing to scale on the personnel standpoint. We only have a few remote employees at this current time. Everyone else is basically required to be on site because everything's hands-on.
Yeah, I would imagine that. Nathan, let's hear about your business. How many employees do you have and where are they located?
We have a little bit over 100 employees, and most of them that are working in the manufacturing are based here in Utah, obviously. We have salespeople that are outside of the state, but as far as manufacturing, all of the manufacturing people are located here in Utah. The majority of them here in Utah County and some of them up in Salt Lake County.
Talk about what type of jobs that you offer at your business. Are they entry level? Talk about the pay scale for various positions as well, if you will. Stephen?
Yeah, so we have a myriad of positions available on an ongoing basis, and not all of them involved hands-on work on the packaging floor. Like I said, we have a research and development chemists, we have marketing personnel, graphic designers that all help with branding. We also have unskilled positions that we're continually filling on our packaging floor. And those jobs on the packaging floor range anywhere from $15 to $22, and that's an increase from last year substantially just to keep up with market competition forces.
Nathan, let's hear from you.
Well, ours is roughly the same. We have people working on entry-level positions all the way up to sales, marketing, graphic designing, all of that stuff. And the pay scale starts at about the same, $15 to $17 an hour, and goes up from there.
I hear a lot of business owners say they like Utah, they want to relocate their business here because of the workforce. How would you characterize the workforce when it comes to manufacturing here in our state? Stephen?
Yeah, the workforce here in Utah is very talented, they're innovative, they're highly educated, and they're continually looking for new ways to break the mold and kind of think outside the box. So really unique workforce that's located here in Utah, actually really incredible workforce when you compare it to other areas of the country, and I think that's why a lot of companies are looking to establish a footprint here in Utah.
Mm-hmm. Nathan, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. I also want to point out that there's a lot of, we actually sell a lot of products internationally. We sell into Latin America, South America, South Africa, other countries, and it's great because anytime we need packaging or labeling in a different language, there's people right here that can get all of that stuff translated for us rather quickly.
Stephen, you hit on something I'd like to dig into a little bit more, and that is how competition has raised wages at your company. Talk about how that all evolved and came about.
Yeah, sure. So last year during the pandemic, we were struggling to find, qualified applicants for packaging positions. And we were coming to find out that there is a major constraint just within the Utah Valley of companies seeking folks out. So there's a lot of contract manufacturers in Utah Valley that specialize in cosmetics, personal care, nutraceuticals, and supplements. And so in order to compete for those qualified applicants, we had to increase our wages and also offer differentials on off sorts. So meaning, if it's on the PM side or overnight, to combat, our competitors coming in and taking a majority of that qualified workforce.
Nathan, have you gone through the same experience within the last little bit?
Yes, we've gone through the same kind of experience, and over the last couple of years, we've actually bought a lot of equipment, so we're actually becoming more mechanized. And so as that labor market is getting more constrained, we're actually switching over to be more mechanized to adapt to that.
Okay, very interesting. And that is something we're seeing across many industries as well, I will mention. Okay, we've been hearing from Stephen Merrill and Nathan Jones, but stay right there because we're going to continue our discussion on manufacturing in Utah right after the break. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us for our second In Focus discussion tonight on manufacturing in Utah. Manufacturing in our state provides more than 140,000 jobs with an average salary of $72,000 a year. That's according to that report we mentioned earlier from the Kem C Gardner Policy Institute. And now we're continuing our conversation with Stephen Merrill of Dynamic Blending and Nathan Jones with Xlear. Gentlemen, thanks for sticking with us. We got into this a little bit before the break. But talk about the demand for manufacturing jobs that you offer. Is it high? Stephen, start with you again.
Yeah, it is very high. And I think when you think of manufacturing, you think of just, assembling, components day in and day out. But manufacturing is a lot more than just assembly. You look at supply chain, you look at, research and development, you look at the quality aspects, warehousing, different things along those lines. So there is a huge demand for jobs of that nature among the workforce. And continuously when we post job openings, we get a quite large influx of qualified applicants.
Nathan, talk about what you were seeing with your company, Xlear.
Well, we're seeing a lot of the same things. We're seeing a lot of people, every time we put something out there, we're seeing a number of people applying for jobs. And even though in the last year, I would say that number's actually been dwindling as far as qualified, and because people aren't really out there looking for manufacturing jobs. But I think that those jobs are going to be out there, and we're going to be hiring more people as these manufacturing continues to grow in the state of Utah.
When you talk about qualifications, can you dig into that a little bit more? What type of qualifications are you looking for in an employee?
The qualifications that we're looking for, people, as Stephen mentioned, you got to look at QA, you got to look at quality, you got to look at people that understand the equipment. Entry level, we can bring them in and train them. It's the people that we need coming into QA that already have a good solid base and an understanding of what they're doing, so that we can continue to train them in our industry specifically.
Stephen, your thoughts on that? Qualifications you're looking for, I would imagine it probably ranges when you talk about the entry-level position versus the scientist.
You're talking a huge range. You're talking about people with mechanical skills that know how to manage the equipment and run the equipment and assemble the equipment. So if it breaks down, if there's ever something like that, you're talking about people that have an understanding of chemistry, biology. When you come to QA, when you're talking about people that are working in the lab doing stability and doing micro testing, I mean it's all across the board when you're talking about that.
Stephen, I'd like to get your thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. There is quite a wide range of qualifications that are necessary. When you talk about packaging specifically, a lot of the packaging floor workers are what we would deem unskilled, or they don't have any experience in the space. However, when we look for line leads and warehousing leads for our organization, we specifically seek out those that have, substantial amount of experience in those areas. It's very important to the foundation of our business and how we operate on a daily basis.
When you hear about job growth in Utah, as we mentioned earlier, other industries tend to come to mind. Do you feel like manufacturing is included in that conversation the way it should be? Nathan, let's start with you on this one.
I don't. I think that, a lot of the things that get overlooked in Utah is the manufacturing. I think everybody's focusing on tech. I mean, I think that's not just in Utah, I think that's across the country. But, the manufacturing is to me where that's at, because that's what actually produces goods, and, that's what our economy is based on. And I would really like to have the manufacturing angle included more in those political discussions, which are, forming policies.
Stephen, your thoughts on that? Is manufacturing included the way it should be when we talk about jobs in Utah?
I would have to agree with Nathan that manufacturing is not always included when you talk about jobs in Utah, especially with the influx of tech companies that are coming to the space, not just in Salt Lake Valley, but we've seen the growth of the Silicon Slopes and things like that. Mm-hmm. And there is a large manufacturing presence here in the state, and without manufacturing, we wouldn't have a lot of the consumables that we see out in the marketplace right now. So I'd like it to be a higher topic of priority. Mm-hmm.
When you talk about growth, most companies obviously have a goal of doing that. What are some of the barriers that you face personally in expanding your operations, Nathan?
Well, that's kind of a really touchy topic this past 18 months, but it's most of the thing that really stops us from growing is actually government regulation. We're in the hygiene business, and that really blends very closely with healthcare. Our number one selling product is actually a nasal spray that helps wash out the upper airway. And the only thing that really stops us from growing is government and regulations that our government has imposed, and is us trying to navigate through those regulations.
Mm-hmm. I have used that nasal spray before, and I'll say it works quite well. Stephen, your thoughts on challenges for growth?
Yeah, I think two of the largest challenges that we're facing right now are space. We're very restricted. We added a third building last year, and we're looking to add a fourth this year as part of another capital expansion. And then I think as a growing business that's looking to scale, we're looking for good capital partners, good minority silent partners that can help us make it to the next level. Being on the Inc. 5000 with a rank of number 17 last year, we're looking to maintain our growth and stay on that trajectory. So for us, it's really being able to scale appropriately and smartly.
Okay, gentlemen, appreciate the conversation. We could get into more, but unfortunately we have run out of time. Thanks so much for spending part of your holiday with us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Glen.
Stay with us.
Thank
We'll be
you.
right back after the break. Welcome to our third and final in focus discussion tonight on manufacturing in Utah. We welcome to the show now Jared Hunt. He is a commercial real estate and leasing expert for Colliers International and broker for St. John's Properties. Jared, great to have you on the show. Thanks so much for being here to provide your perspective.
Thank you for having us.
Talk first about the types of properties that you lease out.
I specialize in industrial real estate, which comprises manufacturing and warehouse properties throughout Utah and Idaho.
So someone who may be thinking of getting into the industry, what kind of requirements are generally needed for manufacturing spaces?
Well, it's a specialized area, of course, and there are some buildings that are specifically designed for manufacturing. Other buildings are better suited for warehousing and logistics. Some of the things that we look for when finding spaces for manufacturing companies are power service, parking areas, truck courts so that they can move their goods in and out of the building effectively and efficiently, mm-hmm. And a few other things.
And would you say there are some areas that are, mostly manufacturing along the Wasatch Front? Is it spread across the state? Are there centers? What do you see there?
Yeah, it's definitely kind of compartmentalized based on zoning restrictions or areas that cities have set aside for industrial uses. And so there are pockets throughout each of the communities along the Wasatch Front, primarily in outlying areas.
Got it. Utah marketed as a tech-based job center quite heavily right now, but what is the manufacturing scene here in Utah from your perspective? Talk about jobs, how much space is utilized for manufacturing, et cetera.
Well, we've got just under 200 million square feet of industrial space here in Utah. That is inclusive of warehousing and logistics space as well as manufacturing. And we're seeing a great growth in the manufacturing arena. As we saw earlier, there are companies that are involved in aerospace, semiconductors and electronics, as well as health and beauty and nutritional supplements and foods.
Mm-hmm. Talk about the current trends and environment when it comes to workspace sales and leasing. Many of us are familiar with the crazy housing market right now. Is it similar in the commercial area?
It actually might be worse, if you can believe it.
No, I can't.
We are sitting at about 1% vacancy in the market. I've been doing this now for 22 years. I've never seen a market this tight in terms of available space. And of course, prices are going up almost monthly, it seems like.
So what does that mean for someone wanting to get into the market at this time?
Well, the best thing that a company can do that is wanting more space or to get into the market is to plan as far in advance as possible. You know, begin talking to either a commercial real estate broker or developers such as St. John Properties, so that you can start to time your needs with availabilities. The construction industry is incredibly overworked right now. A lot of the key components for constructing new buildings are on a tremendous back order, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Steel packages are up to 9 to 10 months out from the time that they're ordered. So, you know, those lead times are really extending out to, 12, 18 months in some cases.
So when you talk about the vacancy rate and the commercial market as it stands right now, what's leading to that? Is it an inventory problem or is there something else?
Well, it really has been just a tremendous growth pattern, really since about 2011. We've seen year-over-year growth in this industry. We're seeing a lot of out-of-state companies recognizing that Utah is a fantastic place to set up business or expand their business. We've got, relatively speaking, a bargain on real estate. I know it doesn't feel like that if you're here, but compared to other markets, we are still very competitively priced. We've got a favorable tax environment, responsible state government, and so it really is a great place to grow your business.
Yeah, that's something to keep in mind. It is hard to think that way, though, as you mentioned, especially when you remember 20, 30 years ago, what things were like here in the state of Utah. Wanted to talk to you real quick about new construction. Is there room to grow? Are you seeing a lot of new buildings in this manufacturing space?
Yeah, we've never had more buildings under construction than we do right now. It's been fun to watch that happen. We're just not building enough. And so even though we're setting record numbers for new construction, we're just not keeping up.
Okay. We talked with the businesses earlier in the show about perhaps being left out of the conversation when it comes to manufacturing and the impact it has in Utah. Do you think we're missing out on something when manufacturing isn't focused on the way you think it should be?
Yes, I do. I think there needs to be more attention put on this. There needs to be probably some additional emphasis put on the types of manufacturing that is done here in Utah. Gone are the days of dark, dingy, manufacturing plants where it's unsafe or an unpleasant place to work. Today's manufacturers are really very modern, beautiful facilities where It's an enjoyable environment to work and spend your day, as well as a great stable career path to go down.
Mm-hmm. We have about 30 seconds left. I'd like to get any final thoughts as we wrap up the conversation.
Yeah, I think we just need to keep doing what we're doing and look for opportunities to continue to provide exposure to the opportunities in the manufacturing arena here in Utah, and work hard to keep that construction engine going forward with smart development.
All right, very interesting topic, no doubt about that, Jared. We really appreciate your time, especially giving up some of your holiday to join us tonight.
You bet, thank you.
All right, we would like to hear from you, what you think of this conversation, and any shows we have in the future as well. You can join our Facebook group by searching ABC4 in Focus, and make sure to send us some topics that you may have in mind in an email. Our email address is infocus@abc4.com.